Hi, my name is Erin Lopez, and I am the Senior Recruiter for the Professional Division here at BestLogic Staffing. Today we're going to talk about what do you do if you have too much information for your resume. Early in our careers, we are taught tricks on how to bulk up our resumes, but we don't go through how to make our resumes relevant to our new experiences. So how do you make your resume more prevalent in this times when you have so much information? Now, before we start, please be sure that you like this video and add us to all your social media platforms and follow us on BestLogic Staffing. So let's get started. The first thing you want to remember is to keep your resume as condensed as possible. Try to keep as much relevant information in the forefront. You don't want to have a long gap between your pages or in between your work history while you're trying to represent yourself. Maintaining a concise resume allows the hiring manager to be able to go through your experiences and determine on a very quick basis whether you are the right fit for their role. Most recruiters would love to look at your resume at first glance and see the most relevant information that is prevalent to what they need. Too much information could equal too much time. Time is money, and that also means your time. Now, what do you do if you have too much information to fit on one page? This is why we're here. Recruiters want to see the most recent experiences you've had and try to fit you for the right role and the right position that both adhere to both their needs as well as yours. Your work experience should be the last 3 most important positions that you've held. Try and keep it short and try and keep it sweet. Information that you've had 20 years ago might not be relevant for today. So you want to try and keep the most relevant positions, even if they have been contract roles or if they have been full positions. We want to see them, we want to know about them. The last thing we want is to have a position that you've had 20, 30 years ago as a relevant piece when you're currently working at a different role. If you have multiple positions and multiple companies you've worked with, try to keep it as relevant as possible. No need to put in multiple positions for one role. Try and keep it short, concise, and to the point. A couple bullet points are just enough for you to be able to get the point across. This brings me to my next topic, your skills. You want to take this time to showcase your skills of what you've learned in the many years that you've worked at these companies. Showcasing that will show what you've learned and how good of a leader you are, as well as a great employee. Your skill sets are what they utilize to look at what you've learned. Now, when you're going to put into your resume, you want to keep it as short and concise. However, when you're going into your job descriptions, you want to try and keep the most relevant positions that you've had that also emulate those skills. You want to give the reader some time to be able to see what you've learned and who you are and sell yourself in a precise way. Keeping it short and sweet allows the reader to be able to get an idea of who you are and your work experience, but also understand if you're a great fit. That brings me to my next topic, your buy-in, which is your cover letter. The cover letter speaks on who you are on behalf of who you are. It allows the hirer to see the exact experience you've had without having to condense it all into your resume. A cover letter is not always required, but it is a helpful tool to have when you're coming into an interview. A great way to keeping your resume to one page is by taking certain information like your education and your certifications and putting them onto your cover letter. This is where you can utilize the paragraph portion to be able to emphasize who you are and what you've done in the last 30 years. If you've had multiple years between your last contract and your last position, you want to try and keep that out. Keep the gaps small. The last thing a recruiter wants to do is try to construct your work experience. A common misconception is that having gaps in your work history could be a red flag for a company, but that's not always the case. This is where you can use your cover letter again. Utilizing that asset allows you to be able to emphasize what those gaps were and why they were relevant, but it also helps break in and bring in your employee information and allow them to see where you're coming from. Any more information you feel would be relevant for your job, hold off. That's for the interview. I hope you find these tips helpful and put you in a better shape for your next application. As I said before, please like this video, follow us on all social medias, and make sure you follow BestLogic Staffing wherever you go. We're always here to help you find your career path. Just give us a call.